Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. So guys, I want to talk with you about a couple of things, and this message, even though it's going for women, it will be for women, young girls. I believe men can listen to this as well, because there's something I'm going to throw in here for you too. So in the Bible, there were two twins. There were a set of twins, Jacob and Esau. And Jacob is the younger twin. Long story short, there's like a birthright, you call it like an inheritance, that he's supposed to get as the oldest child, that Esau is supposed to get as the older child. Well, Jacob, by the influence of his mother, steals that inheritance. Okay, the father is blind. It's a blessing the father has to give to the eldest. He pretends to be his brother, steals the birthright. His brother now wants to kill him, so Jacob runs away, and he's gone for a long time. So Jacob goes, and he is now living far away, meets his uncle Laban, and he falls in love with Rachel. And Laban says to him, you have to work for 7 years. Work here, live here for 7 years, and then I'll give you my daughter, Rachel. Well, of course, Jacob works very hard for 7 years for Rachel. And there's a wedding. Jacob believes that it is Rachel, but it is not Rachel. Laban actually tricks Jacob, and he marries Rachel's older sister. So Jacob is very upset about this. Laban is like, well, I can't, it's not customary that the younger should be married before the older one. But if you work for me another 7 years, you have Rachel. So Jacob, being in love with Rachel, does not say, you know what, this is just ridiculous, I'm mad about the circumstances, and he doesn't just take off. He works another 7 years. So we have a total of 14 years now that he works. He stays there, and he works to get Leah. Now, obviously, in these times, they were able to marry more than one, and there we are. Why am I giving you this example? Whenever the circumstances will most likely not be the same as Jacob's situation. What I'm showing you here is the determination that he had to be with her. He loved her. There were no circumstances. Keep in mind, he has never laid with her. He's never experienced her sexually. They've had nothing like that. But he puts his eyes on her, and he falls in love with her. And there was nothing that was going to stop him from having her hand in marriage and making her his wife. And the moral of the story is that when a man loves you and when a man wants to be with you, nothing is going to stop him. When you find that there's a man, a boyfriend, whoever, who has all these excuses, and there are all these reasons for why he's unable to do the right thing. He's not treating you correctly. He doesn't want to get married. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. He's not treating you right. He's not being loyal. He's not being faithful. It is because he's not interested in you. He can tell you he has a headache. He can tell you it's stress. He can tell you it's my job. He can tell you it's whatever. When a man truly wants to be with you, this is like inside of that man. Everything in that man, when he wants you and he truly has, his heart is there for you, and he loves you. He has a true deep desire to get to know you more. Nothing is going to stop him. His college exams are not going to stop him. He's not going to be saying, oh, I can't call you because I have a I have finals coming up. I couldn't call you because my cell phone wasn't working. I couldn't do this because of my job. I fell asleep as soon as I got home. This is what's going on. Well, this and that's going on. That's going on. That man is not interested in you. No matter how nice he seems. No matter how much fun you have together when you see him. He is not interested in you. Because nothing is going to stop him from pursuing you and getting to know you. And if you think back on when you first started, he pursued you. Now, some of you, he never pursued you. You've always pursued him, and that's the problem. Nothing will stop a man. Nothing will stop him when he truly desires you and his feelings for you are true and genuine. Obstacles, situations, whatever may come up, his focus will be fixed on you and not in a crazy obsessive way. So if you're getting excuses and he doesn't know, and he's telling you he doesn't know what he wants, and he can't make up his mind, and he's not ready, and all these different things, he's not interested in you right now. He's not interested in you at all. Let's just put it like that, because I don't want to give you hope. You're not his focus. His eyes might be elsewhere. Whatever it is, the bottom line, you're not it. I'll give you another example. In the Bible, there's a very wealthy man named Boaz. And Ruth, who's had a life of hardship, she's had some things happen to her completely out of her circumstances. Correction, completely out of her control. But she decides that she's going to continue to travel and to take care of her mother-in-law, despite the fact that she's lost her husband and all these different things. And she goes out to a field to work. She takes a job to work to help to support her mother-in-law and herself. When she goes out there, she's noticed. She doesn't know that she's noticed, but she is noticed by a man named Boaz. And Boaz sees her, and he inquires, who is this lady? And they explain who she is. And it is placed in Boaz's heart that she's out there gathering barley. So he instructs his workers that they should put some barley down where she could find it, so she could just pick it up and gather in what she already has. Men are providers. I know things are different. We're living in times where there are lots of men who expect the women to carry them over the threshold. They're very different from the days of old. And the key word here will be old. Oh, that's old-fashioned. That's old-fashioned thinking. I want a woman who's this way and that way, and she needs to be able to bring this and that to the table. There's a different mindset. At the same time, if you are equal or greater, it's a problem now. There'll be some other dynamics and things that they'll have a problem with. But not to go too deeply into that. Men are providers. Men are providers. It's not going to be something that you have to challenge a man about. It's not going to be something that you have to be trying to prove yourself that you are worthy. A man that is for you, you're not going to have to be showing him that you're worthy. I am not telling you that you should not improve yourself and do the things that you should, whatever you can do to become a better person. I'm not telling anyone just to sit by and wait for someone to come and rescue you. But hands down, the focus is not on the woman and what she's doing. That man should be a provider. Men should have that within themselves to be a provider. He's not looking at what can you give me. She'll look at your character. She'll look at the type of person that you are. She'll get certain things about you granted. So you're not just, this man should not just be looking at you for your beauty and how you look. But you find there's a lot of men, ironically, there's so many men out there who they're just looking at the booty. They're looking at, does she look like a trophy wife? They're looking at even your finances. What can you bring to the table? And this woman can bring something to the table, but she brings some other things to the table that he'll end up not liking. That could even end the marriage. But men, regardless of, hands down, men should be providers. I have a sense of wanting to protect their woman, or protect their wives. But there's something that's changing with men today where they, and it's not just men, there's a group of women too that's on this word equal. We're exactly the same as men. So men are becoming more softer, I guess, and it's like they see women and them as equals. So, hey, you should be able to provide for me the same way, you know, you want to be the man, then I'll be the woman, and you provide for me. What can you do for me? This is the mindset of some men. And then, of course, you have women that's just bolstering in, you know, just walking bow-legged like the name is Derek. And they want to put the men over their shoulders and, hey, I can do what you, I can punch walls too, rah, 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 you know, whatever they're doing. But at the end of it all, ladies, there should be a sense within a man to provide, to protect. And if he doesn't have those characteristics, he's probably not the one. Because while people may say it's a dream and these type of men don't exist and you're old-fashioned and you're thinking crazy, such men do exist. There are men out there who are providers and protectors who is not all over the place in their emotions and their desires, but such a man is very rare. Such a man is, some of them are still being developed, and by that I mean God is changing their ways. They're being transformed from perhaps who they used to be, and God is making them who he has ordained them to be. So they're not following the world's narrative. These men are not looking for, you know, tough gal Janice over here trying to be Joseph, or trying to wear the pants. Let's just put it like that. That may offend some, but there are men out there, and they're not misogynists and they're not abusers of women. They just walk. It's just that their position is of such that they're walking in what is the natural calling for a man, the disposition, the character of a man. And it's going to be rare of a godly man, a man of God, not these men that's calling themselves godly men, but they're trying to get your phone number and they're skulking out of hotels at night and talk about they need to anoint you naked. I'm not talking about these type of men. They're not men of God. Those type of people are what the Bible calls wolves in sheep's clothing. These men are just men who have always been grimy, that just decided, I'm going to go into church so I can get all the fat lambs up in there. Okay? Smack them and flip them and rub them down. That's what they want to do. But I think why sometimes it's hard for women to really experience this level of love and this type of a individual is because there's a narrative that women have followed for so long. A lot of women are giving up the cookies because the world says, oh, it's your boyfriend, you like this guy, kiss him, do this, let him touch you, sleep with him. You bring down your value. You're like going low, just marking yourself down. That's what begins to happen. And then we're also living in society where men are just going around and spreading their seeds, sowing their oats in different places, whether they have somebody pregnant or they've sown their seed and their semen is sitting somewhere dying in the trash can in a condom. So people are sort of expelling themselves all over, and they've lost identity in who they are, and then they follow this narrative of what the world said you should be. There are women who are behaving like what the Bible talks about. I believe it says about 10 women to one guy, to one man, and they're saying, oh, we have our own money, we have our own things, just give us your name. There's a sense of desperation. So that even when the flaws and the obvious things are seen, that this person is not good, he is not faithful, he's not a loving guy, he is abusive, he is cheating, women are going to stick it out no matter what. Well, now they're allowing themselves to be, this man is saying, well, this is what I expect you to do, and this is what I expect. And while you should be a person, the things that they're looking at is not truly what is of value, but it's not truly what is of value, but what they value. And a lot of times that is going to be determined by the worldly narratives. Let's just put it like that. A lot of times it has nothing to do with your spirit or your character. But there'll be a lot of fickle, and their choices will not be based on substance, but truly things that they value, but it will be shallow. And you'll be trying to follow those things. And it's just not going to pan out the way that you expected. There's a lot of people that they check the box off, everything is perfect, but they're miserable. They have a transactional relationship. They live a transactional life. They live a quid pro quo life. If you do for me, I will give this to you. That's what their marriage is like. It's just miserable because it was all check the box from the very beginning. And you have to keep that up to the point that they're living in different rooms and they sit down with a receipt and they're getting a calculator and they are explaining where every dime went, down to why didn't you buy the knockoff brand of Vienna sausages? Why did you buy ice cream? Why did you do this? And they're miserable. So ladies, I will tell you, when a man wants you, nothing will stop him. A man is to be a provider. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. I'm not saying that you're supposed to sit there and just be a taker and not give, and that you have nothing to bring to the table. But the conversation should never really be about what can you bring to the table. And I know that's going to be something where people are going to just be mad. But this conversation of what are you bringing to the table, that is not the order of God. A man should look at your character. Yes, he should. A man should be looking at the way you treat those around you. Yes, he should. He should not just be looking at your beauty and your booty. He should not be just looking at even your education, but who you are at the core. And that's all going to come out in the way you speak and the way you do things. He observes you long enough. He's going to know the type of person that you are. But the idea of you, what are you going to bring to the table? You being a provider and all the stuff. Yes, he may have to see the type of person you are in terms of your habits and certain things. Because if he is a man who provides and he has things, he does not want to let in someone who is like, you are mentally delinquent. And there is a way to measure you and to make sure that you are right, because even King Ahasuerus, I believe his name was, when the virgins were brought before him, they had to go through a purging process before they were found to be worthy to be presented before the king. So I believe for women, there are things that you need to work on. It may be your education. It may be getting certain habits and things in order, taking care of yourself, all those things. You need to know how to cook. You need to know how to do certain things. That's fine. Working on whatever hurt and pains you've had in the past, because it's not fair for this man to have his life together and things like that, and then, okay, he's just supposed to marry boo boo the fool. No. So there has to be a transformation and some things that needs to happen first in every woman, and things need to be dealt with so that that man does not end up with a knockoff. Okay. And I've done videos that talks about those type of things. But and ladies, if you want to know about those things, if you look at my playlist, you can go through them. I have things about women guard your curves, single sex dating, all those things are all there. I have these playlists that talk about those things. So I'm not saying that you're just supposed to be sitting back and slacking off. You can better yourself with your health, your eating habits, with school opportunities that you may have. Go for it. Learning to maintain your home. Go for it. Okay, if you have a sloppy house right now and things are not in order, those are things that you may need to work on, because what are you going to do? You're going to be living with your husband and the house is dirty. It's going to come up. Okay, so there are things that you must work on, just as those virgins, those women had to work on themselves and work on some things before they could be presented to the king. And again, as I said, I have further videos on that. But when you sit and there's this man that's like, you are being trotted out on a stage, and okay, what can you give me? What can you do? What can you do? What? No, that's not the right man. That's not him. And who is for you, ladies? It's just gonna be. And unfortunately, we're living in a society where such men are rare, but they do exist. I believe God keeps these type of men hidden because they're not going to be out there. They're not going to be in the usual places that you will go. You're not going to find them in the club. You're not going to find this person at the comedy club. You're not going to find them in perhaps the usual places that you will go to. It's going to be where you least expect them. And don't just think you're going to find them in church either, because there's a lot of counterfeits in the church too. There's a lot of counterfeits. He might not be there. You might run into him at the store. You may see him, you may pass him every day. You don't even know that's him. And sometimes he's that person that you just don't look at because he's short. Or you don't like him because he's too skinny, too tall. He's not built enough, or he's too built. You don't like him because, you're a different color, race, nationality. I don't like that. That ship may have sailed. You didn't like him. He had on white socks. So what I'm saying, ladies, is when a man loves you, when he's interested in you or even getting to know you, he'll be interested. He'll be interested in you. He's going to be a provider. But you don't want to be a woman that you're looking and you want a provider and you want someone that loves you, but then when it really gets down to you, you have nothing inside. So a lot of times there are things you have to work on within yourself, because if not, you're gonna keep pulling the mangy dogs towards you because you mangy. You're gonna be pulling them dogs, mangy dogs. I remember seeing a dog that was mangy a long time ago, and I believe there was just bits of fur that was missing from. They looked dirty and they big bald spots in this dog's fur. I've seen a dog like that once, and I would tell you, you're gonna keep pulling the mangy, dusty people because you still have some things with you that's calling them to you. For the fellows, I'll give you this. As I said to the ladies, if someone loves you, they'll wait on you. Well, I would say this: if a woman loves you, she'll respect your family. She'll respect your family, because if she disrespects your family, she does not respect you. I understand that sometimes people have family that's not nice, that's rude, whatever, but nevertheless, even if you have a rude family members, you should not have someone that's going to go toe-to-toe with your family, or a woman that is just against your family. You may have a nice family and she's just against your family. She just wants you all for herself. A woman that loves you does not try to separate you from your family. Now, there are circumstances and situations, especially in marriages, something may happen. Someone's parents, family may be very, very toxic. But even in that, you have to know how to give that gentle counsel and allow him to do what he needs to do. Every circumstance is not the same. You may have had to be a bit firm with him, whatever it may have been. But especially if you're a girlfriend, you do not have that. No. As a woman, you shouldn't be doing that. If that man cannot get his house in order with his family, then you don't need to stay there and deal with that. But don't stay there and try to fight against his family. So guys, getting back to you, a woman who, if she loves you and she respects you, she should not be trying to attack your family and go against your family and separate you from your family and ridicule you. When God works on you and he brings out and he begins to change you, you don't want to pick up Jezebel. You don't want to pick up a woman who is loud and obnoxious and she is impudent, as the Bible speaks about, and she's sly and all she has is booty galore, and just honey butter biscuits. She may even be intelligent, but on the inside she is empty, she is hollow, she is cold. This is not who you want. Unfortunately, you guys have so much more to fight, because a woman can charm you. She could do so much manipulating. She could cry and all of that. You have to deal with that. So that's where you walk in the wisdom and the knowledge of God, and how to be able to resist the tears and resist the deception, and really be able to see clearly what's before you, so that you don't have family who's abusing her, of course. But then you understand that she is someone that's just not going to be trying to incite things between you and your family, fighting your family, doing certain things. That's not right. Ladies, you shouldn't be doing that. If you have to fight his family, it's better you just don't even worry about it, because that's a lifetime of hassle that you don't need. A woman who loves you is not going to sit around using and withholding sex from you to get what she wants. A woman who loves you does not compare you to other men and try to make you jealous and set you against your friends by flirting with your friends and or doing certain things. Your friend may not even be aware of it, but she does these things so that you can be jealous and cause problems between you and your friends. All of this, guys, is going to come with wisdom. You know, this stuff is easier said than done. But the Word of God says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you begin to really, when you turn to God and you ask Him for guidance, He will give it to you. You're going to have wisdom that you never thought. You'll be able to see a person clearly. Your eyes will begin to open up and you're going to begin to see the character of an individual for who they are. And sometimes even when you don't know God, He has placed intuition in all of us. We have an innate sense of what's right and wrong. But truly what happens, people just ignore the obvious red flags and they focus on frivolous things, and they focus on the good times, which is nothing more than just bait to keep you there. So if you can literally think of the good times and you can point out those good times, it's mostly because you have so much bad times that the good times really stand out to you. And it's a way to keep you hooked. So with that, guys, I hope that this video makes some sense to you guys. I hope that you all will have the strength to let go of those things that's not right for you and wait for what is. Letting go of what's wrong and waiting for what's right. And not looking at your biological clock and feeling like, oh, well, I need to just maybe I need to change my standard. I need to lower this. Maybe I do need to start giving it up. Maybe I need to go out there and look for my man. Well, if you go out there looking for him, you want to go knock him over the head and bring him home, then be prepared to carry him over the threshold. Men, if you reward bad behavior from a woman because she can put it on you and cry, and when you correct her, and you're going to be manipulated throughout your relationship and throughout your marriage, and that's going to lead you to hostility and even God knows what, because a manipulating woman put you in a situation where you end up taking someone's life or they take yours. So just be careful, guys. All right. God bless.